I live in a small street, in a small town called Gibbsboro, which is actually the town right next door to where we are now, of 2,500 people. And I also live in a very small development called Hiddenwood, And it's two streets, Driftwood and Birchwood. And it's called Hidden Woods because when they built the development back in 1979, as they often do, they did not clear all of the land. So they only cleared enough of the land to build the houses. So there are quite a number of trees. So many trees, in fact, that if you were a squirrel, you could travel the entire perimeter of my neighborhood without ever really touching the ground. So today, I think it's a very magical place. And today, I would like to walk you through the seasons of my neighborhood so that you have the opportunity to discover the magic right along with me. In the spring, my neighborhood comes alive. The forsythia are the very first to bloom in their brilliant yellows, followed by the dogwoods and the pear tree out front of our house in their very pretty pinks. The children come out of their houses to play, and women that have been cooped up in their houses all winter long bring out their children with their newborn babies and walk them around the block and introduce them to the neighborhood. The azaleas are the next to bloom in their beautiful pastels. And the clematis climbs up the sides of my deck, luring me to lazy Sunday afternoons. In the late spring and the early summer, the children play games in the streets as the days get longer. And the rhododendrons and the daylilies bloom in their beauty. The tree frog in the pond across the street comes out of the mud and begins to chirp. In the heat of the summer, the children wear their bathing suits all day, and they go from house to house, as they play in sprinklers and in pools and on slip and slides. And the sound of their laughter rustles through the trees. We have a block party every year. We close off the block, and all the grills come out from the backyards, and we sit around in big circles, and we all talk about the happenings of the year. It's just a very magical place. And then there are two leaves that appear in my backyard that change color of red. They're usually the first to change as we come into fall. And the fall, which is my most favorite time of year, my neighborhood just bursts into color. And there's yellows and oranges and reds. And the tree across the street is so beautiful that when the sun shines through it, it looks like each little branch is kissed with a yellow flame. Halloween comes, and there's goblins and witches and whatever cartoon character of the year that walks around the streets and trick-or-treats from house to house. The leaves all fall to the ground, and the sound of leaf blowers and rakes fills the air. And the piles that are waiting outside of the houses are as tall as me in some cases, waiting for that leaf machine to come into and whisk them away. A cold wind blows and winter approaches, and the neighborhood gets quiet. And there's a twinkle that appears in my neighborhood. And it's the holiday lights, and every tree and every door and every lawn is adorned with holiday lights. And it turns into a magical winter holiday wonderland. And on Christmas Day, the children come out of their houses and they play with their new bikes and their scooters and their whatever else they get for Christmas. And then the Christmas is over, the toys are put away, and my neighborhood becomes very quiet. And as I walk around the block, I smell the smell of wood burning in fireplaces and wood burning stoves as I see people huddled inside, hunkered down for the winter. And it's very quiet until that first snow comes and everyone comes out of their houses and the parents walk their children around in their sleds, and the older children have snowball fights out in the yard. And they build snowmen and they stand at attention down the street. The snowmen melt, and I I long for the magical cycle to begin again. So I truly believe that my neighborhood is a magical place. And I can imagine that yours probably isn't much different. So I ask you to take a walk through the seasons of your neighborhood, and perhaps yours is not much different than mine. Thank you. Bye.